The question is quite simple. All these people that will be stepping in front of us, they all pass the whole package. They will be able to answer all of the questions. But what I'd like to ask is, how did you put together the groups of participants? First, we started looking for them. We actually put the group together from those that applied. So from home to home, in order to get a hold of them, we put out advertisements. But yeah, it doesn't really work that you put all these blinking advertisements in the media. You rather need to go to people, talk to them, ask them, see whether they're interested, motivate them. But you had some information to begin with. You didn't knock on random doors to ask, like, would you like to study? Like, in one case, Valdur is here also. Valdur can elaborate on his story a little bit later on, but in his case, I wasn't sure. I went to talk to his wife, and then quietly Valdur became part of the conversation. So when you went to the, you knocked on doors in the entire county of Pärnumaa. Yes, that's right. We found acquaintances and asked people whether they know someone that might know someone. Very interesting. How was it in Viljandimaa? Hi, also from me. In Viljandi County, it was a little bit different. Of course, first, I used my partners, which is the city government, social workers. In addition to that, Union of Families, which has many parents that have very many kids. So, of course, we also put up some posters in shopping centers and the few walls that we have to use for that. Your last chance is the chance. So, of course, most found it on social media, on Facebook. So most of the participants, I would say about 90% of the participants I found via Facebook. It was very simple for me, and it was quite surprising also for me, myself. Was this the first thing you tried? No, I approached it parallelly. So at the same time as I put up the posters, I also put the Facebook advertisement on. It was an event that I created on Facebook, and it actually worked quite well. And this was the start. And then people were already asking, I have this friend, can I also take her? And so, to be honest, social media was really the lifeline for me, and it really was very much helpful. So much like Tiina Sarvelma also said before, they move on a different in a different dimension. So, but did you get enough participants? I would hope. I actually hoped that I would get 20 participants, and I had a little bit of scared feeling because it's not been so successful in the past. The first time we had 25 participants, and those that actually took place regularly were 22, 23. So the rate of failure was low. How was it in Pärnu County? We had a pilot project in Pärnumaa, and the beginning was very complicated, to be honest. So when there were 8 or 10 that registered, then actually showed up 1 or 2. So we stretched it out, and we gave it more and more time to get the participants. But as a whole, as a result, quite a few went to school. Some just may have done it once, but they got what they needed from it. So as I see it, you applied certain different measures according to your own region. But that's awesome to hear. Thank you. And let's see whether we got the video to work. Not yet, but we will get there. Otherwise, if we don't, then we will get together tomorrow again to watch the video. But next up, a couple of representatives from different counties. Katrin Nuter from the Läänemaa county, Ada Väät from Lääne-Virumaa county, and Anne Perlov from the Valgamaa county. So if you heard your name, please step to the stage. And I have a couple of questions for you. And you probably know who is who, but I have the good option or the good chance of guessing who's who. I am Katrin from Läänemaa. I am Ada from Lääne-Virumaa. And Anne from Valgamaa. So how did it go for you? What were the actions that you did? How did you get people to participate? Doesn't matter who starts. All of you will have to talk anyway. In the Lääne-Viru county, I think the best was that we didn't sit in a classroom and just didn't talk about going to school all the time. What we did was we went, took the groups to schools. We went to the Rakvere Vocational School, and I think it was the adult education center visiting. That was the most interesting. There was a young history teacher that showed how you can learn at home using the online methods, on how you can actually go to school while you have a small child. Of course, we also catered to them, and we offered them food. So we had a very interesting and nice get-together, and the youth workers in our county are amazing. They mostly put together our groups, and the young people actually trust them. So they actually even came along with the youngsters they sent to us. So I'm very thankful. So you had a little bit of added benefit. You gave them food also. So you showed them a nice-looking young man, and as I understood, all the ones that actually started studying at the school were women. So that's how it works, huh? So how was it in the Läänemaa county? In Läänemaa county, we Peraspera Astra, it was complicated. We needed to cook ourselves, for example. But the main thing was we went to different schools, we took them swimming, so we had a little bit of this added benefit always for them, and it actually worked. So it sounds as if you created a little bit of this community. Yeah, that's true, and we didn't divide them into two groups. The first ones could also take part in the second group and support those that came after them. And it felt as if it's sad to split up the group. And Valgamaa? We had the misfortune in Valgamaa County. We didn't have enough preparation and didn't have enough time for preparation. But once we got together, then we created this hygge environment where we had young educators through internet, through these new measures. We started looking for ways to make our dreams come true when we got tired of it. Then together we ate, we had nice coffee breaks, had nice lunch, and then in this way we had at least 3 long days together with them. And if someone dropped out halfway through, then a older person that had quit school prematurely took the spot. But some children came to complain to us, saying that my mom promised to go back to school, but she didn't. And this created the thought of, for me, on how do children see it? We had third graders come create reflectors with us. So what would you think if your parents go back to school? They would laugh and say that, oh, we would learn together. But one boy very sincerely said, thank God, then she would speak English. So I think using kids to get adults to go back to school is a very valid measure. What was the feedback that you got? Were they hesitant at the beginning or what? At the beginning, some of them wouldn't take off their jackets and the hoods off when we asked them, but we didn't make them. We thought, okay, let them sit the entire day in their winter coats, but they did. And maybe an example, there was an elderly lady, I thought at least elderly, but she had a 7-year-old child with her. And the next time she had her daughter with her 2 kids, along where the eldest was already 10 years old, and they both took a part of our course. But I also had a very interesting conversation or dispute with a girl who had blue hair and piercings all over, and who said that, why do I need this education? And I asked her, what would you like to do in the future? And she said, I want to be an artist. So, but there's no, and I asked her, what school will admit you if you don't have any education? She did go to school, but I'm not sure if she will graduate because she got pregnant. And for me, it all started with the same: map out your dreams. What would you like to become? We will make a checklist on how you get there. And this is where we started. And I am a little bit of a support person to them. We created this community, and they always, if they have any question, they find my phone number, they call me. If I don't know the answer, I will look for the answer for them.
At first, everybody was quite timid. People, you'd have to go to their homes and literally force them out. But now we get information about how they have included other people and how they have spread the word. So I keep getting information about who's doing what. And it's great to see people in the street and say, and have them say, hey, thanks to you, I'm at this or this school, or I'm getting a diploma for being a support person, and so on. Great. Sounds like a success story, but do you have any concerns? Did you encounter any problems, any difficulties? Well, some people would disappear every now and then you would call them and they wouldn't pick up. But then, luckily, the youth workers who I had in my network, they actually went to their houses and they asked. So I found out that some might have had a chronic disease or some other problem, but there were people who basically didn't participate after the first time. Any other concerns? Great. Any questions? Any questions about the vitamin people? Any students? Do you see any students around here? Malle took a student along. Great. Thank you very much. Katri Nuuter, Ada Väät, and Anne Perlov. We have 2 more people from the counties of Jõgeva and Põlvamaa. From Jõgeva, we have Marika Prave and Terje Paes from Põlvamaa. Come up, please. Please get a microphone, come up and tell us about your experiences. Hopefully you have the results from what I come to understand. You brought them with you. Great. But tell us about how do you assess your results and how did you reach those results? What were the results? In the county of Põlva, at the beginning it was hard to get things going. And I would also like to thank my great network members who came and helped out and got all the people together. So once we got going, choice of topics that we looked at was quite wide. But considering our time limitations and considering the project objectives, then we ended up having theoretical things and practical things. And the pediatrician was a very important person who we met because for a young mother to be able to work, the children have to be healthy. Then we met the heads of the various educational institutions. And at the end, it was actually said that it was all over. People didn't want to go home, so to speak. Wanted to come together and socialize, have a nice meal, talk to other people. So I think in the Põlva County, we did succeed, and we all still communicate with these participants. So it was great. It was a very interesting format for me to do things the way we did. In the Jõgeva County, I personally would say, and I believe my partners would also say that in the end, I think we were a great success. Both motivation training courses in Jõgeva and Mustvee were successful. At the beginning, I wasn't sure about having two groups, but once the Jõgeva group got started very nicely and well underway, then actually I got feedback from one of my partners in this cooperation project. And I was a partner from the Estonian Unemployment Insurance Fund from the Jõgeva branch. Of course, we had a lot of different partners from schools, kindergartens, adult education schools, vocational schools, and so on. But to get feedback from the Unemployment Insurance Fund, that proved to be the development vitamin for me. Marianne Kivinurk was that vitamin for me. At the beginning, I didn't realize that our cooperation would be so intense and so sustainable, actually. Marianne worked as a career counselor with our people who were our participants, members of our target group. And she also continued with the Mustvee group. So, since she was a local, it was quite important to actually know these people personally and to have that personal relationship, because the people who really need this group and who need this project, who need these training courses, they can be reached only with the help of local people. Of course, there were concerns, there were problems, as there are with the launch of any new project, but once it all comes together in the end, you kind of forget about those things quite quickly. Now, when you think about the results, what did they go to learn or to study? What kind of diplomas are they reaching for now? The diploma of the motivation training course, everybody has that. I didn't know how high to set my expectations, because we recommended, we offered, we brought information to people, we brought training instructors to people. And then one person, Kadri Voit, who came with us today, she is continuing in an adult education school. She is continuing in 10th grade. And of the 22 people who participated, 8 people went on to continue their education. I think off the top of my head, I can say that 5 people went to adult education high schools and 2 to vocational schools in Tartu and Luua, and 1 person went to the university to continue their studies. Of course, I'm also very happy that the Jõgevamaa Training Center has the key competencies. They have key competencies projects with the Tartu community college and the Vabaduse Liit. We are planning on reaching those people who didn't go back to school, who haven't found employment opportunities. So we are continuing our work with them. And thanks to this project, Terje and I, we didn't know each other before because Estonia in the end is quite big. And Terje and I, we have this career group, this training course that Terje brought to us, to people who are not registered as unemployed either. So we have kept in close contact. All the people who participated in this project, we very actively keep communicating. And as Tiina Saarvelma mentioned earlier, respecting each individual is the most important thing. And from time to time, I get goosebumps when we come together with people from this project. Again, we go to follow-up training courses, and it's like seeing old friends. It's great to see these people again. And if somebody can't make it, they let us know. And we just basically have to keep in mind that these are all relationships. We are all people. But what about Põlvamaa? What kind of results did you see? I would like to say ditto at this point. People went to learn and to study on different levels, mostly to training courses of various types. But it really was a motivating force. It got people moving and got them out of their own homes. It got them interested in things, in the future, and there was this community or this group feeling that came out of it. Hey, let's go, let's do it. It's not so bad. We know the people, we know the school, we know the rooms. And I don't think that's only the story that happened in Põlvamaa. I think it's this thankful project launched by Andres that it happened basically everywhere across Estonia. And it was a great impulse for all counties across Estonia. And I personally would really like to thank Syria and the whole Andres team, Kristel and Enna, for the great cooperation. It was a great team for this project. I recommend them to everyone. Shake before consuming. A great team. And the information was exchanged. The communication worked very well. And everything worked well. Thank you very much. Let's give him a big hand. People who continued their education, can you stand up? Hooray, let's give him a hand. At least one. I think there was another one in the back. Ah, there we go. 2 more. 3. Excellent. Maybe you want to say a few words. Maybe that's not the best way to approach things. Would you like to add something? Do you want to say something about overcoming your fears? Just raise your hand and we'll send you a microphone. Great. If I'm not mistaken, then the question comes from the Pärnu county. Hi, no, I'm from Viljandi, and thanks to Helena, I understood that having kids isn't the end of my life. So thank you very much to Helen. This project should most definitely be continued. because people do end up staying at home. They have kids and they think, oh, I have to support my kids. But now I study English with my 9-year-old son, and we're very happy. Everything's working out well. Thank you. Where are you learning English? Right now by myself. I'm using books, the internet, people I know, and new courses are starting up in Viljandi as well. And the 9-year-old, does he speak English yet? No, he still needs mom's help. I went to the Pärnu Vocational Education Center to be a social worker. But, of course, there are some buts. I don't think it's my specialty, but I won't drop out this time. Wonderful. Hey, one more thing. Before we go to lunch, a wonderful thing I wanted to tell you about. The people whose names you see on the screen, we would like to thank them by giving them something. So I would now like to ask Syria from Andres to come up. And I will say a name and... No, ladies, come to the middle. You have to be visible. I will say your name, and when you hear it, please do come up and receive your gift. I don't know if everybody is here, but in any case, they're all going to be called out. Don't be behind the corner. You have to be right in the middle. I know who is here. Marika Prave from Jõgevamaa. So what's in the package? It's a thank you note from Terje Haidak, who unfortunately couldn't make it here today. I'm sorry, you can't leave quite yet. Please move over to that flipboard. And next, Marianne Kivimurg from Jõgeva County. Leli Rooni from Järva County. Is Leli Rooni from Järva County here? Let's give her a hand and then make sure that the present gets to her. Tiina Lavre will be representing her. Then Katrin Nutter from Lääne County. Ada Vätt from Lääne-Viru County. And Terje Paes from Põlva County. Malle Ellam from Pärnu County. Then Kati Kalvet, also from Pärnumaa. Anne Perloff from Valga County. Helena Külamaa from Viljandi County.
Ja siis on Ulvi Reeder Võrumaalt.
Then Ulvi Reeder from Võru County.
Ulvit meil siin täna ei ole.
Ulvi is not here today.
Nüüd me teeme pildi.
Now, let's take a group photo.
Nii, Sirje ja Kristel, palun pildi peale.
Syria and Crystal, please also join
Muidu süüa ei
the
saa.
group. No lunch before this picture is taken.
Peaaegu naeratate enamus.
Your smile, ladies.
Ma tean, see on ebatavaline eestlase jaoks. Nii, kuulge, väga meeldiv ja siis aplaus.
Wonderful. Let's also give a hand to 204 people who participated.